Hello everyone, it's Kari with another magical project to share with you. Today I'm using these new products from Miss Ink Stamps. I have this stamp set called Heart's Desire, and it's got this magical mirror, and there's also a coordinating die you can get, which is really great because it cuts out the word magical and some hearts, and it also cuts out the center of the mirror, so you can do some really great techniques with it. So we're going to use that today along with this brand new stencil called Magic Stars. And for this, I'm going to go ahead and start on an A2 size panel with the Magic Stars. I ended up not using those lightning bolts on that other stencil. So today it's just going to be the star stencil. And I'm choosing some of my favorite rainbow colors of ink here. And I'm just going to ink this up in a rainbow of colors going diagonally across this panel. So I'll start with Flamingo, go in with Red Luster, then some Yellowstone, we have Welsh Dragon, Blue Raspberry, and then finally I do add a purple. I think that I'm using Blueberry Cheesecake. It could be Grape for this one. So you can see I'm just inking those on using kind of a diagonal look there. And it's just so simple to do. I am blending them a little, but these stars are pretty small, and so you really don't need to worry about blending if you don't want to. Here's the blue raspberry, and then finally the purple here, and it is the blueberry cheesecake. So very simple, and look how it turns out, a beautiful rainbow of stars. Now I want to use this stencil over again and add some glitter, but I'm going to clean it off first. That's going to make sure we don't get any ink smearing and turning into mud. So I'm going to offset this from the first time that we stenciled with the colors. So I'm offsetting that, and then I'm going to add some glitter paste. I have here some Stickles glitter paste in gold, and I'm just going to swipe it all over those little stars so we get some gold stars in between all of the rainbow colored stars. This is a really fun and easy technique to just offset it, add some additional stars, and there's our glittery stars. I'm going to wipe away some of the excess around the outside, and then I'll go ahead and clean off all of my tools and set this aside to dry. While that's drying, I'm going to go ahead and stamp this Heart's Desire mirror, and this is such a pretty mirror. Now, this can be any color you want it to be. If you are thinking what I'm thinking, you know that the mirror is kind of a gold or a metal look to it. Today I'm going to color it in some wood grain looks, and I'm just going to use some E57 to draw on some wood grain with a little bit of knots in there so it looks like wood. I'm just going to do this all along the border of this mirror. And you can see I'm just adding a lot of squiggly lines. I am adding a few knots, but it's such a small area that it's okay to just do a few lines. I decided to color the top part of the mirror here with a BG color, and this would also be a beautiful color to color that mirror itself, but I have other ideas for that mirror. So before I do that, I'm going to finish the rest of the wood grain, just adding the E57. And once I'm done with that, I'm going to bring in another color, E55, to calm those lines down, just blend them out just a touch. You can see I'm barely going over it. And that'll calm that down, give it a little more wood grain look. And then I'll go over everything with the E53. And just real quick, coloring the rest of that. And that's what's going to give it our wood grain look with lots of shades of wood. So I'll finish off with that E53, and then we'll be ready to die cut this beautiful mirror. So I'm breaking these apart, but I'm leaving the center of that mirror inside. You can cut this apart if you want to, but I thought it would be so much easier to leave it inside. It's already lined up perfectly, and look at that, it cuts out the center portion. So now I can cut out that with some mirror cardstock. So I have a small little piece here that's perfect just to cut out that center portion, and I'm going to place that right inside, and you get that mirrored look. It's a really fun look on a card. Difficult to show in a video and also pictures, but hopefully you'll be able to tell in the end. It looks really cool. Now I'm taking this character from the Magical Graduation stamp set, and I'm going to color his robes in a dark, dark blue. I'm starting with this B, I believe this is B99. I put it a little bit too high there, but I believe that's what it is. And then we'll go ahead and blend it out with a couple other B colors. This is the B26, and this adds a little more brightness of blue in there while still keeping it a little bit dark. You can see how simple this coloring is, just adding a few shades of the blue. I think it turns out really pretty. And then the B21 was a little too light. You could see I started coloring up and I thought, no, that's too light for me. So I came back in with the B24 to finish that off. And you can add a little bit more dark color if you would like. I thought this was looking pretty good right there. So I'm going to finish up coloring his sweater and his pants. And I'm going to just create some tan pants for him today with E53 and E51, I believe. And I'll just color those up pretty quick because the real focus is going to be on that robe and on his sweater. For his hair, I'm adding some darker E50 colors. You can tell these are some of my favorite colors to use. I use them a lot on hair and fur, also on clothing and wood grain, apparently. So I'm going to color up his hair pretty quickly with these E colors, and then I will finish some of this coloring off screen as well. For the sweater, I'm using some dark reds with the R59 and then blending that through with the R56 and the R46. These are the colors you might expect to see and that my nephew is telling me I need to color up this particular character with. So you've got it. Here it is. And I love these dark reds. I think they're so beautiful. I also colored up some of the stripes on his tie with those dark reds. And then I finished off the rest off screen, coloring that beautiful owl in some cool gray colors as well. And then also coloring his shoes up with some neutral grays. Now there are some coordinating dies you can get for this stamp set. I love having the coordinating dies. So I cut those out using those dies. And now I'm going to mat this up using one of a gel press experiment gone wrong, but it looks beautiful as the frame for this card. So it's perfect to save some of these panels that you're not exactly sure about for this kind of a use. I'm going to add some foam tape to the back of that magical mirror, and that will keep the inside portion of the mirror right in place, and it will also pop that up on our card panel. So I'm going to go ahead and add that, and I'm also going to add our magical character and the owl with some foam tape as well. And that's going to give us some dimension for this card. I love how this is turning out, and I will add a little bit of grounding to beneath the feet and the mirror, and you'll see that in a minute. Meanwhile, I've cut out the magical word from that same die set using some black cardstock, and I've also white heat embossed the sentiment that says, "May you find your heart's desired," on black cardstock. I'm lining up the magical word on my grid mat here so I can try to get those as straight as possible. And then I picked it up with some really light tack tape, and now I have put some glue behind each of those, and I'm going to place them all down at the same time on my card panel. Now some of these got a little bit wonky, so I'm going to fix those up using my magic wand here, and hopefully that will do the trick. But this is a nice shortcut for adding those letters all at once and lining them up as well. I popped up that sentiment, the sub-sentiment there, and I'm adding one of the hearts from that same die set to the card panel. I also added the dot to the eye as well, and then I added all of it to the card base. Now here's where I was telling you I'm just going to add some grounding using some cool grays here. I'm going to make it a little darker beneath his feet and right beneath the mirror, and then just blend that out with a lighter gray color. So we've got kind of a ground that they're standing on, so they're not necessarily floating in midair, although I think floating in midair would be okay for this magical card. But there's a look at our completed card. You can see that beautiful mirrored cardstock, the pretty glitter on the stars, and all the rainbow stars as well. I love how it turned out. I hope you loved it too. Please give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I'll be back with some more card making inspiration, and I could hardly wait for what I have to share next. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.